Hello everyone, my name is Dejan Milojicic and I'm Distinguished Engineer in Hewlett-Packard Labs. Edi Čustović invited me to attend and in person give a talk at the 4th Annual Students and Young Professional Congress with a special theme of Your Career Starts Here. Unfortunately, I had a major conflict and I couldn't attend in person, but I promised to Edi to record a brief video describing my own experiences. My career started back in '78 when I started my studies. And I remember I was trying to be perfect. That was the first lesson I learned. It was not as important to be perfect in studying as it was important to accomplish something. So as soon as I ended in '83, I wanted to go to the United States, and that didn't work out either. I ended up at the Institute Mihailo Pupin, where I did the practical part of my undergraduate thesis. And there, for almost a year, there wasn't any specific task, but then it all started by storm. We were trying to implement the homegrown computer that was deployed across post offices and banks in whole of ex-Yugoslavia and parts of the Eastern Europe. And there I learned that it was very important to have a very specific task and very strict deliverables. And when you have a motivated team, you can accomplish almost anything. At that time, I remember we delivered 16-user 8086 based system. Competing best systems from IBM, Kinsler, and others could support 1 or 2 users at best. Again, if you are motivated, you can accomplish a lot. After that, I moved to do my PhD thesis and then moved on to United States, first on East Coast and West Coast. Some of the lessons learned that I have learned during the course of my career is that going extra mile always paid off. And there are a number of cases. One case was in Germany. When I just started doing my visit there, at that time I didn't even know that I would do PhD there. And I had an option to do a language test or go to Grenoble for an important meeting. And I was all ready to go for an important meeting, and I was thinking, why would I even do this test? And I did it nevertheless. It turned out that I changed my plans. I stayed doing PhD thesis there, which I didn't know at that time. Another example was when I was offered to publish my thesis as a book. It wasn't much of a deal, and I was thinking, why would I even waste my time doing that? But somehow I convinced myself of doing that. It turned out when I was applying for the green card, getting the status of outstanding researcher was based exclusively on that book. And then there are many, many other examples. Edi also asked me to tell you a little bit about some of my accomplishments that I was most proud of. When I look back, all kinds of titles. I was president of Computer Society, IEEE director, I'm distinguished engineer now, but none of these really mattered. What mattered to me was technical successes. There were 2 that I will tell you about. The first one is about solving the problem that one company had with banknote counting machine. That banknote counting machine would count banknotes, and it was doing a great job most of the time, but occasionally, just occasionally, would skip 1 or 2 banknotes. And you can imagine that banks didn't like that. So they wanted me to develop a device driver. They realized what the problem was, that it was Unix-based system, and occasionally there was a high priority task that would interfere with device driver answering the whole banknote machine. Simple act. And they knew what it was, but they didn't know how to fix it. And they thought by fixing device driver, they would solve the problem. And I did many device drivers. I knew how to do that. I negotiated a pretty good deal. It was a kind of moonlighting job on the side for me. But I thought, well, why would I do that? Why don't I go all the way to the board? I had a board, and I can fix the firmware on it. I had no idea how to fix the firmware, but I approximately knew how I would do that. And so I decided to do that, and I executed, and it worked perfectly well. So that was kind of thinking outside of the box. You solve the problem, do it well, but you didn't do it how you were asked to do, but you do it even better. The other example is my first granted patent. It all happened by the need. I was motivated by the need. I remember I came to the labs one morning and I was talking to my wife, and I looked to the left and there wasn't my laptop, it was missing. there was cut off Kensington lock, and the laptop was missing. I was so annoyed. Someone stole my laptop that I left locked with Kensington lock. And at that point of time, I think, well, what if we come up with the invention of a virtual lock? We will have that laptop always being on, wirelessly connected to another system. And as soon as you take this laptop outside of the reach of that wireless, it will do the alarm. And that was my first granted patent. It wasn't the first one I filed, but it was solving the real need. So that's what I was most proud of, solving technical problems, either by doing patents, implementations, or writing papers. Anyways, I wish you a very successful event and hope I'll come some other time to attend in person. Bye.